Some shows stick the landing with their finales, and then there are the ones that completely drop the ball. Today we're going to be talking about the worst TV endings of all time. The ones that left fans disappointed, frustrated, or just downright angry. Beginning with the 100, now look, I know this show started going downhill after season 3, but if you stuck around until the end like I did, well, we were in for even more disappointment. The series kicks off with a society living in space, orbiting Earth for what feels like forever. Believing that the planet might be habitable again, they decided to test it out by sending down a group of delinquent teens. Because why not send trusted adults instead? Who knows? Turns out the Earth is livable and they begin rebuilding life on the ground. The concept was actually very solid, and the struggles they faced were both interesting and entertaining. But somewhere along the way, the show kind of lost sight of its own plot, and then they tried to go big way too soon. By the end, things take a bizarre turn. The show starts to introduce gods, higher beings, and extraterrestrials, and ultimately everyone on Earth transcends. Except for Clark, because apparently the universe thinks she's unworthy, and in a weird twist, the surviving main characters decide that they don't want to transcend either. They choose to stay with Clark on Earth instead. But let's be real, not transcending was just a fancy way of saying they all die. Yeah, so after everything they went through, they all just died. Coming in third, I feel like the worst show ending was How I Met Your Mother. This ending low-key pisses me off. We spend how many seasons watching Ted go back and forth, fighting for Robin's love, only for him to finally realize she wasn't the one. Then he meets Tracy, who is, without a doubt, perfect for him. They get married, have kids, and then a few years later she dies. And just like that, Ted ends up with Robin again. This completely ruins the entire show. For one, Robin and Barney should have been endgame. Their relationships had real development, and their wedding was such a big deal. Just for the writers to undo it, it just made no sense. And two, the whole back and forth between Ted and Robin was already exhausting. Killing off Tracy just to bring Ted and Robin back together felt lazy and completely undermined the emotional weight of Ted finally moving on. On top of that, the show spent seasons building up Tracy as Ted's perfect match, only to treat her like a plot device to push him back to Robin. And what makes it even worse is that the alternate ending where Tracy doesn't die was so much better, and it was also better received by the fans. Proving that even the writers knew the original ending wasn't it.
We do not care.
The number 2 show with the absolute worst ending is Game of Thrones. Whether you're a Game of Thrones fan or never even watched a single episode, everyone has heard about the absurd, atrocious, and downright terrible ending of this show. The writers and producers really let this fandom down, and what's even funnier is that they actually thought that this was the best possible ending for such an iconic series. Bran, arguably the least qualified character, ends up on the Iron Throne. Jon Snow gets sent right back to where he started, and then years worth of character and plot development gets crammed into a rushed 6-episode final season. But the biggest disappointment is that they turned Daenerys evil, and completely out of nowhere. She spent the entire show fighting to earn her title as Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, only for them to have her snap in the dumbest way possible. And then to top it all off, they don't even give the crown to at least Jon Snow? I don't know, everything about this ending just felt wrong. It was almost like they just couldn't let a woman win. And then giving the crown to Bran of all people, it was just annoying. The only part of the finale that I actually enjoyed was Sansa being crowned Queen of the North, and that's literally it. Honestly, this ending was so bad that it tarnished the legacy of the entire show. Fans invested years into this story, only to get an ending that felt rushed, lazy, and completely unearned. It's no wonder so many people pretended that Season 8 didn't even exist. Now, the number 1 show with the worst ending of all time is Arcane. Now, before you all come for me, hear me out. This is a completely different reason than the previous shows. The 100, Game of Thrones, and How I Met Your Mother had endings that were just lazy and horribly written. But Arcane's ending was terrible because of how dirty they played us. You're telling me that I'll never see Kate and Vi or Jinx again? You're really out here saying it was okay to rip away any chance of a happy ending for pretty much every character in the show? No, I do not accept this. Jinx is alive, okay? She is, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Oh, and let's not forget that they robbed us of those extra scenes with Jinx and Echo preparing for the war. Like, hello, that was supposed to be in there?
Bruh.
And don't even get me started on the fact that we were supposed to get 5 seasons. And they only gave us 3. Like, this isn't fair. But besides that, nothing, and I mean nothing, was wrong with Arcane. It will forever be the best show of the year, maybe even decade, or maybe even for infinity. So yeah, these are the shows that I think had the worst endings of all time. If you've seen them, let me know in the comments. I mean, do you agree, or did you actually like how they ended? Also, drop a yes or no in the comments if you'd like to see a video on the best show finales. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give a like, and also don't forget to subscribe. I'm aiming for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and your guys' support would mean so much.